Next, we have a lovely looking bottle of Glenglassaugh.
Glenglassaugh, yeah.
Glenglass.
I'm unsure.
Emphasis on the soul, the Glenglass.
Yeah. I just kind of let it fall off at the end.
Yeah, I think with most
people will just nod. Oh,
yeah, most distillery names, if you say it with conviction, it's
you're
fine.
absolutely fine. Yeah,
Yep. So anyway, we'll be trying
Yep.
which is this one is a single cask bottling, cask number 559, distilled 2009, bottled 2020. So we're talking about 10 years old.
Yep.
Cask type peated / bourbon barrel, which could be quite interesting, and bottled at 55.9%. Glenglassaugh Distillery it's not one you see around too often.
I honestly don't know a huge amount about the distillery. I know a bit more about GlenDronach and BenRiach that are in the family.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's a bit of a shame that Glenglassaugh don't get the limelight that.
I've always kind of struggled with it. So it's a new, well, they're an old distillery, but they were closed for a long time. I think it was 2005, give or take. The distillery was revived.
Yep.
And as you say, they're now owned by Brown-Forman.
Yep.
But it was Glenglassaugh, BenRiach, which is very good, and GlenDronach, which is like a cult following.
Yeah, yep.
So I don't know whether because it's a new distillery or whether it's struggling to compete with these two bigger personalities to very, very popular distilleries, but it's almost like the phrase "run to the litter" is maybe a bit strong, but it's never going to be quite as sought after, as popular, talked about as much as BenRiach or GlenDronach.
It's not quite a Caninvy with Bevvy and Glenfiddich, but it's perhaps on that level. As I say, I'm actually struggling to think of a memorable Glenglassaugh that I've had. I just don't see it very often.
I remember when they restarted production, their first releases, they had one called Revival. And one called
there we go,
Evolution.
That's right. So it was no non-age statements. They named the
Revival and Evolution. I remember working in a shop and my colleague was trying to sell it and he accidentally referred to it as Revulsion.
Oh wow!
And I was like, well, that's a sale lost right there. But I think as the distillery has obviously had time to distill and mature, we're starting to see some quality output. This one, obviously, a single cask release.
Yep.
Single cask can, I suppose the logic is that these have been hand-picked as the best of the best. Have you had good experience with single casks in general?
It is varied. It's varied. Just because it's single cask, I mean, obviously, it doesn't mean it's going to be spectacular. Rachel Barry, we're both huge fans, so we know that she knows what she's doing. So I would hope that this will be something pretty special. But single cask, it can vary. I mean, sometimes as well, a single cask can be put together and sold for a bit of cash. So it just doesn't mean it's always because it's spectacular liquid.
I think with it being an official bottling single cask, you'd assume because they have all the casks to choose from, they would pick the best ones. But obviously, indie bottling sometimes, that might be the only cask they can get hold of, so it might be a bit subpar. But this one, I'm fairly confident. I don't know why, but
I think if it's an official bottling from the distillery, they've got pride in it. They're not going to release their own spirit from a single cask if they think it's poor. So this should be
cool. Yeah, it'll be an interesting one to try. In terms of the distillery's location, it's up in Portsoy, I think, up in Banffshire, Aberdeenshire, that sort of. So it is kind of nearish to the coast. I think it's on the borderline of Speyside and Highland. So I don't know whether I imagine it, but there is perhaps a slight kind of maritime coastal influence. Potentially, that might be completely wrong, but we'll give this a try and see what we make of it. As I say, it's a single cask bottled without any dilution, so it's a fairly punchy 55.9%, and just in a bourbon barrel. So
again, I was just peating this straight away. Straight away.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd say this would be a great, even just from the nose. Anybody who does blind tastings, this would be a great one to throw in. Because if I gave it to you without, as a secret saying what do you think it is, you'd probably be guessing what? Ardbeg, maybe Lagavulin.
I don't know if it's that
No, I mean,
full on, but it's definitely there. But you're definitely saying Islay. And I do agree with you. There is a saltiness, a maritime quality, 100%. Which I'm quite dubious of. But in this instance,
I think that assumption of the distillery is next to the sea, so therefore the casks breathe in the salty sea air. Whereas most of the time, the casks are not matured in the outskirts of Glasgow.
Talisker the best example.
Yep. But yeah, huge amount on the nose. I think the nice thing with peated whiskies for me is that if you like that characteristics, it's all about the intensity and that raw character.
Yep.
And that is at its most evident when the whiskey's quite young.
Yep.
So, if you love, super iodine, seaweed, all these sorts of aromas, a Lafroy 25, you're probably wasting your money. Just get some 5-year-old cask sample and it's going to be knockout.
I would actually say though that I'm not getting that seaweed peatiness on this. This is more of a wood fire smoke that you might find in something like a BenRiach, for example, which might make sense, not too far apart. But yeah, I don't know what that means where this cask came from. But I'm not getting that real seaweed Islay peaty vibe. It's more of a Highland peat.
Yeah, it's almost like an ashiness. Which kind of like ashtrays and
which is lovely.
I do like it. Yeah.
Because sometimes that can put people off. That Lafroy gets a very unique,
it's so distinctive,
and it can kill someone's love for or want to drink peated whiskey. But it's not all that iodine.
I think some
like this, which is more, as I say, like campfire smoke.
I think some people start their whiskey journey with something like Lafroy, and they dismiss all whiskey as having this really distinctive taste. But this is obviously smoky. It's pleasant.
Yeah,
it's nice.
You can the Bourbon Cask is still coming through. Like you can get a bit of that classic vanilla sweetness is there. It's again, I feel like I've said this a lot today. It's 55%. I am not getting that from the nose. It's not offensive, and it's relatively young, 10 years old. So
it's still got at least lots of liveliness and youthfulness to it. Do you think there's any similarities with I'm just thinking of mainland peated whiskey? Something like Ardmore, for example, is it probably a bit more extreme than that?
Yeah, perhaps. I said BenRiach there. Ardmore, I suppose. Yeah, but I think. There
is a nice sweetness to it from the Bourbon Cask, but we'll give it a little sip and see what dominates, if anything.
Wow. Oily, very oily. And when I said on the nose, I wasn't getting that medicinal peatiness. Instantly on the tongue. That's what I got. It hit me straight away. So contradicting myself there, perhaps, but it's just an honest assessment. Very oily. Real smokiness takes over, but fades out towards the end towards that kind of well-rounded sweet finish.
It is very pleasant. I'm glad they just kept it in bourbon casks. I feel like there's enough there. I feel if they put it into like a Port Barrique or Octave or something, it would be kind of too much and maybe a bit confused. I feel like Bourbon Cask gives a nice sweetness to it, and you get those vanilla flavours, but it doesn't take anything away from that peatiness and that smokiness. I do feel they work quite well together.
Yeah, I think the strength of this is helping it a lot as well. If this was taken down to 46 or lower, it might have lost a bit of its punch, but there's a lot of flavour going on in there, and because it's only 10 years old, some of the impurities are probably masked by the peatiness that's going on there, but the strength is giving it a lot. There's a lot going on. There's plenty of flavour in there, but it's not harsh at all. But obviously that's typical of a younger peated style. It helps to mask some of those impurities.
Yeah, it's very good. Obviously, this one they do specify it is peated. I think standard Glenglassaugh distillery character is kind of lightly peated at most, but I feel like it's a successful experiment, if that's what it was,
Lovely
to try
stuff.
a single cask.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I can see why they've released it. It's nice. It's a strong dram. It's unusual, and there's a lot going on in there. You could go back at that a few times and pick out different things as you go. So
yeah, I think it's a great. I always find it interesting trying peated versions of whiskies which aren't usually peated, because like this is great, and this would be a fantastic Isla alternative if you're a bit sick of Lafroig or Bowmore or Lagavulin and you're after that smoky hit. This will do the job.
No, it's lovely stuff.
Really good. And is it kind of gone up in your estimation? Obviously, GlenDronach and BenRiach set a high bar. Is it catching up?
Definitely worth trying. I mean, there we go. I now like Glenglassaugh. So
well, cheers to Rachel Barry. Sure to be joining in at home, Rachel. A great success, and look forward to tasting some more.
Cheers.